Guys, I want to talk about these topics. This is a very interesting topic that happened this year. It's good for us to do that, right? You guys don't think so? It's good for us to have those kind of topics that happen throughout the year, talking about different issues. Like this was the topic about free speech and Ben Shapiro and Candace Owen. Candace Owen firing Ben Shapiro. A very important topic. It happened, and PBD was talking about it, and it was quite interesting. The different debate about the topic. So let's talk. Let's dive into it, guys.
Wait, is that? Oof. Are you manipulating the religious right in America? Are you manipulating the right-wing conservatives in America and selling them country western movies and putting on your little cowboy hat and fake moving to Nashville so that you could take all their money and then in the process restricting free speech, one of the core tenets of the American identity? Ben.
Benjamin.
What is happening? There's trouble in paradise.
Pause it right there. For context, Daily Wire's in Nashville, but he's in Florida. But yeah. What do you think about his points?
I mean, it makes a valid point, but and I sent Rob another video of Ben kind of contradicting himself, but he's 100% right. Like what? And by the way, that's what attracted me to Ben Shapiro in the first place. That dialogue, that everybody say what you want, do what you want. Facts don't care about your feelings. This is a place where you can say anything except that one topic, and we obviously know Ben is 1,000.
Literally tens of millions of people in the United States who are afraid that the cancel culture is coming for them. And cancel culture does exist. Okay, so what this results in very, very often is corporations looking to cram down a particular viewpoint on you and then cancel you. When it comes to the hosts on the Daily Wire, obviously everyone is able to say what they want. But the reality is that there is an Overton window at the Daily Wire. There are polls out there that show that a vast majority of Americans in every single political group, including liberals, feel like they cannot say what they want to say in public because they're afraid that they are going to be canceled, fired, cast out from polite society.
And then
this actually happened to a socialist moron named Nathan Robinson. He got canceled from The Guardian.
He's basically
and he said
saying
he got canceled from The Guardian
isn't good?
because he had
So you know what's one thing that's funny? PBD, I have to give him credit for that. He's a little bit more real about free speech. Like people on his show, they can talk bad about Iran. If people say bad stuff about Iran or some things going on in Iran, he's from Iran. He's not gonna be mad. If they say something bad about the Muslims, he's not gonna be mad. But Ben Shapiro will not bend the knee at all for Israel. Nothing. Zero. No bending knee. You cannot say nothing bad about Israel. You cannot say that Israel did. You know what I'm saying? You have to protect Israel, but he also played the game. Hey, it's free speech, guys, free speech. You know, so that creates like some sort of weird dynamic. So now he fired Candace Owen. Everybody's talking about it.
Got it.
put up some anti-Israel tweets. Okay, now I think he's an idiot. I think that his views on Israel are abhorrent, but I don't think that he should lose his columnist slot over at The Guardian. That's a different story, obviously, when it comes to any publisher. Any publisher gets to make decisions about what it wishes to purvey and not. He certainly would not defend anybody on the other side.
He used to say, now he's so he went against his word on basically everything that he said. He went the complete opposite because we found out that they fired her. They didn't have one of those contract disputes. They were like, you don't see the way that we say, you're being anti-us, goodbye, and they fired her. So that's just proof that he's a hypocrite.
Thoughts on this?
So I've been very open that I thought that the Daily Wire managed the whole thing with Candace in public and managed it very poorly. And then Ben Shapiro just come back on leadership and say, well, I'm a founder, but I'm not the CEO and I'm not making decisions. I'm like, come on, dude, you just did. Yeah. So I thought the way it played out in public from a leadership standpoint was not good, but I kind of see it another way. You determine the product you're going to put out. You determine, and for better or for worse. And if you get exposed like CNN did for spinning things, stifling things, and not really be journalists, then guess what? Your ratings go down, your ads go down, your business goes down. Now, let's take a look at this. What if, Pat, we had some people at PHP and we're selling life insurance, proven life insurance that's protecting families, that's doing good stuff.
Sure.
Proven product. Yep. And what if we had somebody saying people going with they get their insurance license, and they tell people, you should just buy gold. Life insurance really isn't it. You should just buy gold. Just buy gold, just do that. We would take them aside and say, what are you doing? you know what? We're here and we're training people, and these are valid products. This is what we got, and you wouldn't be there. Vinny, if you had a car dealership and you were selling EVs, and you would say, look, a Ford F-150 pickup.
Guys, this is why I like PBD, because everybody talks, they give their stand, and everybody is not on the Daily Wire side on this discussion. But for some reason, if you remember when this thing take over, when they were firing Candace Owens, it seems like only Adam, because Adam is from Israel, he's the one that was on Israel's side. You know.
Can I respond?
Of course.
Cool. Well, number one, love Andrew Schultz. Majority of the time, he's got amazing takes. I don't know if he was right on this one. And I certainly don't think Akash was right. Here's what I'll tell you. When, it's NFL season right now. They're going to have the draft coming up soon. It's free agency season. They're talking about who the top free agents are. They're talking about what's going on out there. The number one free agent out there in the YouTube talking head space is Candace Owens, no doubt. Whether you agree with her or disagree with her, she's out there and she'll be a force to be reckoned with, and she is going nowhere. Whether it works out with the Daily Wire or not, evidently it didn't, obviously. When it comes to this situation with Ben Shapiro, look, I got nothing to do with the Daily Wire. I'm not defending the Daily Wire. I have zero relationship with Ben Shapiro, zero. I ain't going to the Daily Jewish Wire here at Valuetainment. He's absolutely right, though. There's something called the Overton window, and that's what he's talking about. This is the problem with Ben Shapiro. He's so freaking smart that the average person is like, what is this guy even talking about? The Overton window has specifically to do with policy. Policy, not perspective, not opinion, policy. And the range of ideas that are allowed to be applied to policy. It is policy driven, not opinions. So it goes from what's a policy that is implementable to the masses, what's acceptable, what's popular, what's sensible. And then on the fringe of that is what is completely unthinkable and completely radical. He said straight up, this has nothing to do with her positions. And I don't think he's actually full on commented on what exactly happened. By the way, the Daily Wire, the cancel thing, there's a point there, but it's nuanced. The Daily
Adam has a very interesting point. The fact that the Daily Wire did fire Candace Owens, it was not censorship. It was just a business decision. It's probably maybe because it wasn't good for business, because the audience is poor Israel. So that's a little bit different. Censorship is different. Twitter, if somebody goes after like somebody saying something against or pro Israel on Twitter and they get banned, that's censorship. That's what Adam Sosnick is saying. That's kind of interesting. Very interesting viewpoint.
cancel thing, there's a point there, but it's nuanced. The Daily Wire has every right to cancel whoever they want and fire whoever they want, because there's a difference between a publisher and a platform versus a private company. This has to do with Section 230, the whole conversation that's going on with cancel culture. Like, if YouTube censors somebody, or Twitter censors somebody, or Facebook censors somebody, Meta, that is censorship. If the Daily Wire or The Blaze or Valuetainment for that matter, or Tucker Carlson Network, whatever he's working on, chooses to fire somebody, that's not censorship. That's a business decision. So I'm not defending what Ben Shapiro did with Candace or not. I'm just letting you know that's the reality of this Overton window. By the way, here's some examples of the Overton window. What was completely radical and now became policy. Slavery, that was part of the Overton window. That was part of policy-driven, you can own slaves. Hello? That would be completely unthinkable and radical at this point. Women's right to vote. Women's suffrage.
What did Candace say? What did Candace say that was overly unacceptable policy-wise?
So I'm not privy to what she said, but I will tell you this.
But that argument only carries weight if you can validate what Candace said that was so out of line that caused you to say, we don't, it's not about the decision. Or what did she say that was so overly offensive, or something in the lines? Because you're comparing, slavery is okay is what you're saying.
No, I'm saying that within the Overton window, at one point it was okay.
No, I
just like women
I totally
not being able to vote was okay. And now it is not.
What I'm saying is, what did she say that was at that level of weight and impact to say, boom, we're out of here?
We don't know. But
so if we don't know, if you're saying that we don't know what did she say, so how can you say that why are you defending Ben Shapiro? Because Ben Shapiro is against censorship, and now he kind of censored this woman just for just saying something basic. That basically what Candace is saying was that you cannot kill innocent children. She felt like Israel was killing those innocent children. That's what she said. That's the only thing she said. That's it's not that controversial what she said. So
all I can do is tell you what we've seen online. Here's what I can tell you. By the way, 0 other Jewish people work for Daily Wire. Who are Jordan Peterson? He's their number one guy, not Jewish. Matt Walsh, hardcore Christian. The other guy, Michael Knowles, Andrew Klavan, I think he's a born again Jews for Jesus type. Okay. Ben Shapiro's the only guy that's Jewish, so let's just say that. But there was a whole conversation, like Matt Walsh as an example, firm isolationist. Don't fund Ukraine. Don't fund Israel. Don't fund Taiwan. Firm isolationist. That's the position of the MAGA perspective these days. And Ben Shapiro said, yeah, that's totally cool with that. Whatever happened with the Christ is King, drinking Christian blood, that's a conversation that Candace and Ben, I think.
But what he's saying is, because I follow this closely, because guess what? She has her opinions about Israel and how they were acting post October 7th, and we're going to get into some of those stories. She didn't say anything that was like, I don't like Jews or I hate Jews or anything like that. When she says Christ is King, or when she interviewed that Rabbi Barkley and she said, you know, what's her name's a hag. They were looking for stuff to call her anti-Semitic. Christ is King. That's anti-Semitic. That's horseshit. That's looking for reasons to fire. And then,
Christ is King doesn't mean it's anti-Semitic, because that means every Christians are anti-Semitic. That's what it means. I mean, that's not true, because all of us, we say that. Everybody that's Christian say the Christ is King. I think Candace, like Owen, I don't know if she has a beef with like Jewish people. I actually think Candace Owen is anti-Semitic, by the way. I think she is. So I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you a couple of videos that maybe have something that can show you that like she might be anti-Semitic.
Is for the old, I'm being honest, and on average, not everyone, of course, but for the older Democratic.
Grew up with, and who I love, and who are my friends, and who are my ex-boyfriend, I guess you would say, with this sort of DC Jew who is using these words not because they believed that what they were hearing was actually anti-Semitism or Jew-hating, but to basically silence people. They were threatening people.
Candace Owen, okay, that doesn't mean anti-Semitic. I don't see it yet, but let's keep going.
She can't be anti-Semitic, folks. She dated a Jewish guy once. But on Wednesday, Candace Owens went on an extended anti-Semitic tirade on her show, which you just watched a small portion of. But here's some very brief context behind why she's talking about this. It started with her explaining that someone accused her of anti-Semitism for speaking out against ads that the Israeli government aired during the Super Bowl. She argued that the ads were meant to distract Americans from the assault on Rafah that began Sunday. She also took issue with a third ad that was aired by an NGO, which asked viewers to call their representatives to demand the release of the Israeli hostages. She also questioned why Americans should call their elected officials about something happening in another country. But that wasn't the anti-Semitic part of her rant. She took a long time, of course, as you heard, explain.
Guys, I don't understand this video. This is a video from the Young Turk. This woman is claiming that what Candace Owen is saying is anti-Semitic. I'm sorry to say that, but I don't see it yet. But she's saying that it's anti-Semitic. I don't see it yet. So I'm gonna let the video keep playing. I'm gonna see if there's anything anti-Semitic that she's saying. I don't see it yet. I don't see nothing anti-Semitic that Candace Owen said yet. Let's keep watching.
You want to go, oh my gosh, like what is it? What should we be fighting? We got to fight that thing because I don't want another Holocaust.
I guess anti-Semitization of these accusations where they really are not applicable. She then invoked the anti-Semitic trope that there is a cabal of Jewish people who are trying to control all political power in this country. And she has, I guess, declared herself the arbiter of who is actually a good Jewish person and a bad Jewish person, and just went on that anti-Semitic tirade. So I just want to make that distinction. But I mean, it just got worse and worse and worse. Cenk, what did you think of this?
Yeah, so you're right, of course. I mean, I've been in dozens of debates on this issue, and bad faith actors like Rabbi Shmuley and Alan Dershowitz, I say hi, and they're like, anti-Semite, right? So are there individuals who act from bad faith? Of course, right? But people like Candace Owens are toxic to the cause of helping Palestinians. and getting peace for Palestinians and Israelis, okay, and ending the occupation, ending the bombing. They're toxic to all that because they do not make an incredibly important distinction, one that is logical, moral, and factual, which is we're not talking about Jews here. We're not talking about the Jews. We're not talking about DC Jews. We're not talking about Pittsburgh Jews. We're not talking about Santa Fe Jews, okay? We're talking about the right-wing government of Israel. And it's that specific because other governments in Israel have made peace deals. They have made a peace deal with Egypt. That's fantastic. If there was a peace deal today and we ended the occupation and you had 2 states and Palestine was free, terrific. Everybody go back to Israel and you know, et cetera, on Israel, let alone Jewish people, et cetera. But when you start getting into this, oh, it's the good Jews and the bad Jews. Now, look, guys, sometimes people say, hey, what are you doing? Why are you attacking Jewish people? Are you nuts? For example, some of the best fighters for the Palestinian cause in America are Jewish. So Bernie Sanders, historically, is the first person who's ever brought it up in a presidential debate stage and has always treated Palestinians with decency. And you might have disagreed around the edges in the beginning, but he's right now the senator that's pushing hardest for peace and for Palestinian rights, et cetera. And I can go on and on. There's a giant list, let alone Jewish Voices for Peace, et cetera. But when you start getting into, so when people point that out, including me, we're just saying, like, obviously it's not the Jews, right? Apparently that's not so obvious to some people. But when she says, now remember, guys, there are good Jews and bad Jews. And the ones that disagree with me are the bad Jews. And they're the ones that are controlling everything. Now, it doesn't get any more anti-Semitic trope than that. No, everybody has their different point of view and they come at it from their own perspective and they're trying to fight for their own rights and their own beliefs, et cetera. And we get into the situation that we're in. So, and she's so nonsensical that I'm amazed that people keep up. Look, if she said, hey, I'm a right-winger, I don't really care about the Palestinians, but I just don't want to send any money abroad. Okay, well, that's an ideological position and it's got nothing to do with race or ethnicity or religion or whatever. I don't agree with that as a blanket statement, but okay, then I could accept that. Or she says, I don't, I want to get to peace, or hey, I want something good for the Palestinians. I'll take it, that's fantastic.
I don't understand what Jenk is saying by this because I kind of feel like, yes, you can say that they are good black people. They are good black people. They are bad black people. Maybe there's a miscommunication problem. But like, I personally don't see in that video that Candace was anti-Semitic. I don't see it. Like maybe I'm missing something. I don't understand. Anti-Semitic is when you're saying Jews are part of the cabal. Jews are this. That's anti-Semitic. When you're saying that they are good Jews, they're bad Jews. They're good black people. They're bad black people. They're good white people. They're bad white people. That doesn't make you racist. I don't think so.
Yeah, I just really get a kick out of Candace Owens. She's so easy to make fun of because she is a profoundly boring person. She's so boring because everything bores her. Everything's stupid, everything's immoral, everything's too much, nothing's good enough. Whether it be she talking about people relationships and how their relationships should be and what a man should be and how women should be. And she has whole segments where she talks about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, 30 minutes or 60 minutes. And it's like, the older she gets, I just turned 32. She can't be that much older than me. We're like 35, 36 or something. She's just getting more and more bitter and more boring. Because what else is she going to do? Is she going to shift to the left? No, I mean, she might come out with some liberal, comments here and there, but like people won't really take it seriously. It might get some attention. Like she's totally boxed in. She has nowhere else to go. I mean, maybe people will still be listening to her do this crap in 10, 15 years. Maybe not. I don't know. But like, she's just, again, every time I see her, I just think, wow, you're so boring. And I don't envy anything about you. I don't envy anything about the people in your life. And who really respects you, who's worth a damn at the end of the day? She's just a joke. Like I have no respect for her and I have no problem saying that. Like I really don't.
And you make a really good point there, Jackson, because it's not even just Candace Owens. So many of the Daily Wire hosts, we've seen them have the shift where instead of making, a lot of long form political content, so much of what they put out now is just them reacting to TikToks and making fun of videos of, Gen Z kids on TikTok. And like Ben Shapiro, now it's a joke that people try to make.
Really just, they don't talk about politics.
And so apparently they got their couple of shows canceled in Arizona, each other, and then circumstance should go anyone
that I'm talking about right now.
Okay, so that's basically it. Like, this was a basic topic, nothing interesting. Candace Owens talking about this issue. I remember that issue. It was kind of interesting when it happened, but like, I don't see, okay, so I think I'm gonna go back to the Israel thing. We're going with PBD.
My point is, Adam, I think you're missing the point. Ben Shapiro had been saying, hey, I don't make decisions. I'm just there. That's horseshit. Him and who's a CEO?